Good afternoon and welcome to the 2020 Economic Recession and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this August 20th, 2020 edition. Today's topic is very simple. It is the unemployment and job numbers report that comes out every Thursday. As you know, we have climbed above 1.1 million jobs again lost in weekly jobless claims filed this week, today. According to CNBC.com, Today report published at 8:30 a.m. this morning, the Labor Department said initial jobless claims for the week ending August 15th came in at 1.106 million jobless claims. Economists had expected about 900,000 jobs, so that's 100,000 more than what they expected lost. The modest jump is a stark reminder that claims will likely encounter some turbulence as they fall through turbulence rather than gliding in for a soft landing, says Daniel Zhao, senior economist at Glassdoor. So, as the the S&P 500 continue to make quote-unquote record highs, there is a disconnect between Main Street and Wall Street, which we all have felt. Even today, the popular pundits on MSNBC, CNBC, and Fox Business News have reported that they see the disconnect, but they're not too concerned about the overvaluation of the stock market because they feel like the recovery, the V-shaped recovery, although not as promised, is still on par for the course. It's still on track. However, Main Street knows better than to put their trust in Wall Street and the political pundits and financial pundits. 2008, we saw the same thing, the same sentiment. Consumer sentiment was hopeful that we could come out of this, and it took 8 years. We never really came out of 2008, but it took 8 years to get the stock market up to these numbers again. So just 2 months prior, CNBC.com reports nearly half the U.S. population is without a job, showing how far the labor recovery has to go. A lot of people will not have jobs that are not coming back. As a matter of fact, Pizza Hut, just this past Monday, is planning on closing 300 stores. And today, Lyft and Uber, the Lyft and Uber drivers in California, service is being suspended because Lyft and Uber, the judge ruled that you have to classify your drivers as employees, and they don't want to do that because they don't want to pay benefits to these employees. They want to continue to pay under the market rate. And so what we have here is a perfect storm. We have, right now, the official numbers is we have 40 million unemployed, right? But we know that the real shadow number statistics is we have 65 million working unemployed adults in America right now. 65 million unemployed people out of the 120 million so eligible workers, blue collar, white collar, self-employed, etc. So there is no recovery coming. And the jobs that people do have, let's say the regular jobs that people do have, a lot of people are underemployed, especially college graduates. They're underemployed, underutilized, and now the lifeline of the gig economy is being cut, with Lyft and Uber drivers going to be suspended, probably in other states too, because of the federal judges ruling in California. And these companies do not have the money. They're trying to make high profit margins. They don't want to pay employees benefits, health, retirement, etc., time off, because they can keep you as a gig economy employee and get more money, maximum margin, maximum profit for the businessmen, for the top 1% of 1%. And we have to remember, folks, the sickness, this was before the sickness outbreak that we've had this year, before COVID-19, before the sickness outbreak. Unemployment was already ticking up. It was already at 7, 8%, 9%. Now it's at 12% unemployment. And this is going to be an initial blow to the economy, because next we know that the housing market is going to crash as people cannot afford these homes at these prices. Last week marked the first time in 21 weeks that initial claims came in below 1 million. So we went 21 weeks straight with 1 million or more jobs lost. And then last week it came in below 1 million. Now this week we're above 1.1 million again. At the peak of this thing in April, mid-April, we were losing between 6 and 7 million jobs per week. That's insane. If anybody is telling you that there's some type of recovery going on, they are delusional, because now we have a situation where stimulus is running out. Congress is filibustering. They're wasting time because, remember now, Congress is on vacation till September 7th. That is after Labor Day. So any stimulus package that's going to be passed won't come into effect till mid-October, if at all. I really believe that they may not even give a second stimulus check to individuals. Helicopter money will not go out to individuals because we just don't have it. If the states, broke states and cities had the money, they would have paid it out in unemployment, which they have been doing. But now, only a handful of states, according to CNBC.com, has approved to disperse the new $300 per week benefits, and it's unclear how long those benefits will be ongoing. And that's only a handful of states. What about the other states? What about the states that are not extending these unemployment benefits? So we are in a jobs depression. We are in a housing depression. And now the last final piece is going to be the civil unrest piece that's going to be coming, because we're in an election year. So even after the election, there will be civil unrest and crime as a result of people not having useful utility things to do, not being employed, not being able to meet ends meet, not being able to pay any bills, or just plain out not working. So what are we going to do to solve these problems, regardless of who gets in office in November? The economy's recovery is dragged down by millions of unemployed Americans who simply don't have the money and don't have the time to wait for another stimulus, another unemployment extension. We're not producing anything here, and this is going to be a major, major problem. And this is why I say we need to cherish these moments that we have to prepare, because in the next 6 months, things are going to look very different in America, very different. There's going to be a lower standard of living that we're all going to have to get used to as a result of this reckless money printing done by the Federal Reserve Bank, as a result of these companies' greed by taking all the money and paying it out to CEOs and giving bonuses to CEOs, and their workers are struggling. And also the corporate greed by buying back their own stock and inflating all these stock prices that doesn't mean anything, because there's no real utility being produced. Even in the New World Order economy with robots and automation and all this fantasy utopia stuff, if you're not producing anything, utility, real assets, if you're not producing anything, your country's not going to make it being the number one superpower. And this is what we're seeing. This is the 100% truth. And as much as, I would like to believe in a rosy outlook, a rosy picture, it's just not possible with this much debt and this much unemployment. We're now at $27 trillion debt. That's according to the U.S. debt clock. That's growing every hour, every minute of the day. And we have 65 million Americans unemployed. 65 million Americans unemployed. U.S. national debt, as of right now, $26.6 trillion, not including unfunded liabilities. That's $80,776 per citizen. The debt per taxpayer is $214,322. That amount of money used to be able to buy a decent sized house. Now that's nothing. The average house in America costs $325,000 per annum. And so the average salary of most Americans is around $40,000. So you do the math. Your money is buying you less, and yet we're paying more in taxes, more in government, more services, but less money, must bang for our buck. And this is going to cause extreme crime, extreme poverty, homelessness, and most importantly, these jobs are not coming back. And none of these industries in retail and hotel, transportation, freight, white collar jobs, office jobs, gone. As these downtown skyscrapers are not going to be rented out no more with these high commercial rents. People are working from home. So we are in a dire situation right now, and I pray for the country. I pray for you and I that we will continue to prepare with food, water, medicine, durable goods, durable resources, because in the end, we can't eat stocks. We can't eat gold and silver. We can only eat and sleep with what's in front of us. That's going to help us sustain us through this next period that this depression is going to be in phases. And right now, we're still in phase one. And a depression usually takes, most economists say, 10 to 12 years. And we're in one of those things that's going to take 10 to 12 years. So always ask yourself when you go out to prepare, and I've been asking myself this, and I've been preparing for 2 or 3 years now. Do I have enough to sustain myself for the next 10 years? Because that's how bad things are going to get once the music stops playing, just like on the Titanic. They thought the economy was unsinkable, quote unquote. They thought the Titanic was unsinkable, and well, we saw what happened with that. So get prepared, stay prepared, and I will talk to you very soon. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I read them, I appreciate them, and please support this channel. Please subscribe, or tell your friends and neighbors to subscribe if they have not already. And I'll talk to you very soon.